This is Sam Altman, the college dropout who is now worth over $500 million, with an IQ of over 140. He's the CEO of the fastest growing company OpenAI, the maker of the biggest AI language model ChatGPT, and he was the CEO of Reddit for 8 days at one point. This man is single-handedly reshaping the way you and everyone is living. Many experts described him as being good at becoming more powerful. But what's the story behind his success? How did he become the king of Silicon Valley? And what sort of decisions is he making that could shape the future of humanity? Is he a villain or a saint? Join us as we dive into Sam Altman's story. The 22nd of April 1985 marked the date in which Samuel Harris Altman popped out into the world. Born in a Jewish family in Chicago and raised in St. Louis, Missouri, he demonstrated a passion for computer science at a young age. His mother, Connie Gibston, bought him a personal computer when he was only 8 years old. Despite how slow and uncommon these machines were at the time, the young Altman became obsessed with computer science and programming. He went on to John Burroughs School, a well-respected private secondary school in the St. Louis metropolitan area, where he showed great signs of leadership and was described as a good debater. He was a kind of curious guy. He wanted to change the world in one way or another. He was always a programmer at a young age, which usually leads to a problem-solving mindset. He always tried to solve problems around him and approach them with a smart mentality. These are skills that he benefits from in running a multi-billion-dollar company. After his graduation from high school, he moved to California and went on to study computer science at Stanford University, the same university that Elon Musk and the co-founder of Instagram, Kevin Systrom, attended. However, just like his pioneers in computer science, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, and Mark Zuckerberg, he dropped out of college after just 2 years of his studies. All that Sam wanted at the time was to focus on his first startup called Loopt that he founded in 2005 when he was only 19 years of age. Loopt basically was a company that provided a service for smartphone users to share their location selectively with other people. The service supported iPhone, BlackBerry, Android, and Windows phones. The service and its potential caught the eyes of one man named Paul Graham, who was the founder of Y Combinator. Y Combinator is a technology startup accelerator launched in March 2005. It has been used to launch more than 4,000 companies, including major companies like Airbnb, Coinbase, DoorDash, Quora, Reddit, and Twitch. Paul saw Altman as a great future CEO and a powerful tech leader, as he described him as the best founder in the Bay Area. Both these guys were very ambitious about Loopt. They raised almost $30 million in venture capital, and at its peak, the firm reached a staggering $175 million valuation. But unfortunately for the young entrepreneur, the hopes of making Loopt a giant company was doomed. The service never quite got the attention it needed to survive and did not have enough users, as well as the company was spending more money than they could afford just to keep the project alive. So after 7 labor-intensive years, the service was shut down in 2012. Sam sold the company for $43.4 million to Green Dot Corporation and walked away with $5 million. He was officially a millionaire at this point of his career. He opened his next chapter with his brothers as they founded Hydrazine Capital, a San Francisco-based early-stage venture capital firm that invests in things like marketplaces and healthcare. But Sam hated his job. He found venture capitalism so boring. So when Paul Graham, this guy, again, offered him a position as a partner of Y Combinator, Sam didn't hesitate to accept it. His skills of recognizing promising startups made him become the president of Y Combinator in just 3 years of his partnership deal. He strongly felt that the number of startups funded by YC per year should increase, and he said that he hoped to expand the number to 1,000 per year. He also tried to diversify the fund into different sectors. In October 2015, Altman declared YC Continuity, a $700 million growth stage equity fund that invests in YC companies, and then he announced Y Combinator Research, a non-profit lab, and donated $10 million to the group. Sam always loved the idea of having a non-profit organization. The areas of this lab were research on basic income, the future of computing, education, and building new cities. He had an open-door approach that let him interview not just startup owners with rich connections, but with everyone who had a brilliant idea. This resulted in having 40,000 applicants a year with a low rate of acceptance of just 1%. Sam wanted the best of the best, and with a focus on scaling the investment firm and enabling its growth over the long term, the company prospered under his leadership and has surpassed $65 billion in value. However, investing in startups was not enough for him. As we said, Sam was a programmer after all, and programming requires solving problems. When he was approaching his 30s, he knew he wanted to do something that can solve many of the world's problems. He kept looking for ideas, and one day in 2014, he found it. It was Reddit. He became the CEO of Reddit for 8 days until he found out it wasn't the best of ideas. Artificial intelligence. It was the perfect idea to invest in for Sam Altman. At the time, AI was viewed as a dead science, only living inside the realms of science fiction comic books and movies that not a lot of people at the time had. AI was not the cool kid down the block like we view it in today's society. Back then, many people either ignored it, thought it was impossible to have advanced AI technologies, or simply were worried about the potential of developing it in terms of the harm it could cause to our existence. Some scientists, such as Stephen Hawking and Stuart Russell, have articulated concerns that if advanced AI someday gains the ability to redesign itself at an ever-increasing rate, an unstoppable intelligence explosion could lead to human extinction. That didn't bother Sam one bit, as he only viewed the positive traits about AI. He saw, for example, how Google was developing more sophisticated AI systems. In 2014, Google acquired DeepMind Technologies, a leading AI company known for its breakthroughs in areas such as reinforcement learning. There were also many virtual machine learning systems being developed by other Silicon Valley companies like Apple and Microsoft. Therefore, Sam wanted to jump aboard with his idea to ride the wave of the future. So, in December 2015, he and a bunch of colleagues, backed by the billionaire and the biggest memer in the world of Twitter, Elon Musk, launched OpenAI. Around this time, he stepped down from his position of president to chairman of YC Company to further focus on this new project. OpenAI is basically an artificial intelligence research laboratory, and it began as a non-profit. The motivation behind this lab was to ensure that artificial general intelligence, which we talked about in this video, benefits all humanity rather than being controlled by a few entities. Initially, OpenAI operated as a non-profit organization with a focus on conducting research and promoting friendly AI development. This non-profit quickly became a Silicon Valley sensation, as it received over $1 billion in venture capital to fund its projects. It was like a paradise for artificial intelligence researchers and scientists to develop smarter AI. Adding to that, OpenAI was paying corporate-level salaries instead of the usual non-profit-level salaries. With higher pay, many researchers flooded this firm's headquarters, including former Google employees. But this meant that OpenAI was consuming more and more money. Since OpenAI was a non-profit, it was extremely hard to convince people to invest in the project. Adding salt to injury, Sam lost his biggest funder as he had disagreements with Elon Musk. Musk probably realized a few key things about Sam's intentions that we don't know about. Regardless, this meant that Sam had to rely on finding other partners that could fund his AI dream. It was a difficult situation, spending an entire year trying to attract investors. To his luck, Microsoft stepped up in 2019 and invested $1 billion in OpenAI. It was a power move that this giant tech company made in order to put itself in the AI arms race against Google. We've already spoken about how Microsoft outsmarted Google in the AI arms race. After that, OpenAI turned from a non-profit to a for-profit company. At around this time, Sam stepped out from his position as chairman in the YC company altogether in order to fully focus on OpenAI, and the rest is history. Sam and his team wanted to create a powerful language model, like a chatbot never been seen before, that can understand human language and remember previous conversations. They named it ChatGPT. The first baby version of ChatGPT was terrible. However, in 2019, OpenAI introduced GPT 2.5 and GPT 3, which marked significant milestones in chatbot AI. GPT-3 in particular garnered significant attention for its ability to generate coherent and contextually relevant responses. With 175 billion parameters, it was one of the largest and most powerful language models at the time. Building upon GPT-3, OpenAI released subsequent versions like GPT 3.5 in 2021. While the specific details of these versions might not be publicly disclosed, they likely represented incremental improvements to the original GPT-3 model. Of course, like any other powerful characters in history, Sam and his partners had their fair share of controversies surrounding how the company trained this AI, how they used cheap labor from African countries to do so, and how ChatGPT does not protect users' privacy. We will not talk about them in this video, so yeah, regardless of all of that, Sam Altman's vision of ChatGPT prevailed. Everybody is talking about this AI and its powers. It literally shifted our way of thinking about AI, where we thought this kind of artificial power was impossible to achieve in the real world. OpenAI is now worth more than $29 billion, and Sam Altman, the Stanford dropout, is officially the king of Silicon Valley. Critics argue that Altman's level of power, combined with OpenAI's ambitious goals, perhaps raise concerns about potential concentration of control in the development and deployment of AI systems. The concentration of power in the hands of a few individuals, regardless of their intentions, raises questions about accountability and transparency. These are the same ethics Sam used to believe when creating ChatGPT. Many people are wondering why Elon Musk, once a confident investor and believer in OpenAI, suddenly abandoned the project. Is Sam Altman a villain in disguise? Find out more about both these gentlemen and their relationships by clicking this video.